Top 5 really good things about 2020. Let's be honest, 2020 has been 2 years what felines was to film, an expensive, excruciating, endlessly long debacle. What's more, at any rate cats included the consoling presence of Dame Judi Dench, though as a silly, upsetting half-cat form of herself. However, prior to covering 2020 close by cats in history's letterbox, there are some splendid spots to recognize in the midst of a generally dull year. Here are 10 positives to rescue from a year that can't end rapidly enough. Number 1. Medical science is meeting the moment. The quickest an immunization has been produced for a significant infection is 4 years, when a vaccination against mumps 29 opened up. In spite of the fact that 2020 appears like it's taking forever, the world is seeing what will rank among the best accomplishments in clinical history, an antibody for a deadly, internationally unavoidable illness in under a large portion of that time. Without a doubt, an antibody surely isn't weeks away, nor are we adjusting the corner, except if there's a graveyard around the square. On October 23, the US recorded 85,000 new COVID cases, its most noteworthy single day all out yet. Yet, the study of disease transmission is a careful cycle that takes drug advancement as well as controlled patient examinations, producing convenience and strategic deftness. Thinking about this present, it's astonishing how close we are. A few drug organizations are in phase 3, the last stage involving huge scope, fake treatment relative testing, of their clinical examinations, and are really fabricating the medication should they gain endorsement. The imminent antibody from Johnson & Johnson, which is continuing phase 3 after an antagonistic result couldn't be connected to the medication, shows specific guarantee, as it very well may be regulated in a solitary portion and, strategically, shouldn't be super cold all through the gracefully chain. Then, the business is prepared to waste no time once significant government well-being associations support an antibody. Pharma organizations worldwide have reconfigured gear and put resources into foundation to deliver, examine and transport the billions of important dosages to get planet Earth back to some similarity to ordinary. For as much damage as they've caused, we're taking a gander at you, narcotic emergency troublemaker Purdue Pharma. 2020 has seen huge pharma act skillfully, mindfully and even selflessly. Number 2. 2020 has prioritized facts over feelings. In a world go crazy with safe spaces and support prizes, 2020 has offered not one or the other, with a liberal serving of humanity's marquee helper, self-protection, as an afterthought. These extraordinary occasions have constrained us to quit assuaging individuals' emotions to demonstrate hatred for our own prosperity. On an ordinary premise, in an even irregular 2020 premise, that point of view resembles this: I've gone through months squatted in my home, cautiously securing my own well-being and that of my friends and family. I'm not letting this imbecile ruin 5 months of reasonability with 5 seconds of flightiness. In not exactly a year, COVID-19 has killed more than 1 million people. It is totally awesome that a few people actually won't wear veils or keep up social separation. Maybe these individuals have been living on Mars since, gracious, about December 2019 or thereabouts, and re-emerged Earth's environment in a matter of seconds prior to hacking in somebody's face. What this has done is power an excessively indulged Western civilization to cut the considerate PC horseshit. Prior to 2020, individuals had become too open to foisting their uber specialty needs onto standard society. 2020 has supplanted pusillanimous trigger admonitions on everything from authentic monuments to abstract classics with genuine issues really deserving of setting off us, strolling, wheezing illness vectors who accept, against all proof, that the following pair of lungs snared to a medical clinic ventilator couldn't in any way, shape or form be theirs. Number 3. We've proven working from home works. Work from home? Generally on the grounds that administrators didn't confide in representatives not to relax. Be that as it may, with the appearance of COVID-19, telecommuting went from a sometimes allowed extravagance to an all-saturating well-being need. Apparently short-term, by far most of those equipped for getting by from our PCs were doing precisely that. Regardless of fears that ordinary suburbanites would go from striving to scarcely working, this fantastic labor force analyze has been generally fruitful. Indeed, organizations have seen sudden advantages of work-from-home plans, including higher gathering interest and improved administrative mindfulness. Indeed, even before COVID, Research demonstrated that telecommuters are frequently more gainful than their driving partners. By and large, an extra 1.4 workdays for every month. Number 4. Mother Nature is getting a much-needed respite. The compelling force of nature had been dropping clues of late that something wasn't exactly directly with our relationship. She took a stab at expanding the recurrence and seriousness of storms in the Western Hemisphere and, in the Far East, interfering with Beijing's inhabitants for quite a long time at a time with putrid cools. At that point she figured setting a critical segment of California ablaze may work. However, we continued. At long last, a triumphant technique for Mother Nature, if humankind can't be trusted to meander the earth capably, perhaps people should simply go to their rooms. Our air travel, gridlocks and modern waste have been seized and put in Mrs. Nature's work area, in case we're acceptable. Possibly we can have them back toward the finish of this school year. With people concealed, Mother Nature has indicated an unfathomable capacity to skip back from all the crap we pull under the same old thing conditions. With social, financial, mechanical and urbanization movement fundamentally lessened, the planet has expanded its long laid down time with massive upgrades to air quality, cleaner waterways and less commotion contamination. The uptick in air quality is apparently the greatest shelter. The World Health Organization, trusted by each enlightened country spare the United States, gauges at around 3 million individuals pass on every year from air contamination-related illnesses, with 80% of metropolitan zone inhabitants routinely presented to perilous breathing conditions. Both Mother Nature and its occupants in a real sense required a breather, and 2020 has given that. Number 5. Eloping is making a comeback. One of 2020's highest accomplishments has been the uncommon, quick abatement in customary weddings. In the event that there was one enormous get-together pillar that genuinely required a troublesome power, it was weddings. It took the most noticeably terrible of conditions to save us all from the best man and maid of honor shakily besieging as you gaze clumsily from the table where you neither know anybody nor care to. Many, if not most, individuals scorn weddings, seeing marital solicitations as weaved harbingers of required registration and weariness. For hell's sake, even the lady of the hour and lucky man scorn what the wedding does to them, paving the way to the huge day, as a hallowed function that ought to be about affection is soured into a costly, fanatical, psychotic chore. 2020 has given us the best reason ever to, 1. Not plan enormous weddings and, 2. Not go to them. Simply check the crate on the RSVP stamped "Sorry, I don't wish to kick the bucket alone on a ventilator during your vacation." Safety initially is put long exaggerated mass wedding social affairs last, a reviving reprioritizing. An ongoing Wall Street Journal article talks about another COVID-related issue that patterns toward eloping, what for some vainglorious truant couples is some truly necessary viewpoint. A couple highlighted in the piece dropped their 150-man function to rather wed with nobody other than their canine in participation, before loved ones by means of FaceTime. They even filled in as their own officiants. In the midst of a worldwide pandemic, said the lady, "Sorry, I don't wish to kick the bucket alone on a ventilator during your vacation." Best wedding discourse ever.